Hello everyone, it's good to be here at my Canvas talk. Hello everyone, it's good to be here at my Canvas talk. So the word canvas is linked with the word painting and sketch, which I am very miserable at, trust me, and neither I am a very good speaker. But it's really an important stage, a platform that my Canvas talk has offered for a new director and writer like me, who is working for a few years in the Bengal independent film circuit, and I am happy to share my journey with you. This is Saptaswa Basu, and here is my journey. So a disclaimer, people have wonderful stories to tell, they have epic journeys to tell, but here is a warning that my journey may give you 100 ideas to face failure and maybe stop at your dreams, but I would suggest not to do that, because with 100 failures comes 2 or 3 success stories as well. So right now I am standing right after the release of my recent feature film Network, which has done very well in Bengal and Mumbai also. And how I came up to this position is a really remarkable story. So I started off in my childhood from a very average middle class family. My father used to work as a civil engineer, and he used to draw blueprints of his architectural designs of roads and buildings. While I was lost in my own fantasy world, sometimes I used to be Batman, sometimes I used to be Tintin. So all these comic book detectives and journalists. And when I grew up, quite opposite to these characters, I became Richard Hendricks of Silicon Valley, if anyone has seen the show, who faced failures in every step of life, who used to face obstacles at every phase of life. So here, while I am standing, in retrospective, I am looking back upon my school days, when Gerard, the great philosopher Gerard, has said that the basic human emotion, the basic human thought is imitation. So some people says government jobs are great, the whole society follows. Some people says or discovers that doctor or engineer are the best 2 conventional professions, so everyone else follows. So this kind of imitation, and not only this kind of profession wise. Suppose I see a very wonderful dress which is now in trend, everyone wants to buy that. So this imitation, what has led to this middle class society, they always think that the neighbor's kid has been doing well in this stream, you also do the same. Why don't you take up science in 12? Why don't you take up electronics or IT? So these kind of questions are the basic hurdles that I faced as a student. And frankly, believe me or not, my journey has been also kind of a filmy. So films have helped me. 3 Idiots, that movie have helped me to convince my parents to take up an alternative profession. But there was a catch. To take up an alternative profession means starting off my own business, starting off my own studio, raising funds, doing something of my own, telling my own stories. What I had to tell, I had my own stories to tell. I grew up in kind of an escapist kind of a world, where I used to read, like I mentioned, Tintin to Feluda to Enid Blyton to Stephen King, to all of these great novelists. So what I discovered about myself is that I was only capable of telling stories through visual medium. I cannot do any other so-called important things in life, like saving someone's life, like being a doctor or being an engineer or being an accountant or something else. That was my call. So my first guidance or suggestion, friendly suggestion to you all is, get the voice of your own mind heard to yourself. That subconscious voice, it has to come to the surface. So the voice that I recognized was telling stories. So when I grew up in this great city, our Mahanagar, the main obstacles that I faced was no contacts or no connection in the film industry. So how to start? So how to start your business? Everyone will give many tricks. There are thousands of articles in WikiHow and Google. You don't have to listen to me to get those. But I have also read all those things and failed miserably. Because when I honed my talents in storytelling, the main thing that I tried to explore was how to grab someone's attention. That is the main thing of a story. So how to keep audience engaged, or how to keep readers engaged, or to how get someone's attention. So while I think I succeeded in my storytelling art, the same grabbing attention failed miserably when I went to business meetings. I can literally say openly that many meetings when I attended, when I was telling my part, when I was telling what I honestly want to do, people attended meetings like this. Yes, yes, go on. Yes. So I couldn't grab their attention. So how to grab their attention? The very worst thing that I came to know, that my parents were always right, that people are only searching for money. They are not interested in anything else. So that's when I failed in, suppose say, at least 80 to 100 meetings like this, and obviously some were friendly meetings who ended the meeting by telling that I will let you know next week. Next week is the most hard phrase that I have heard in my entire life. If there is a word cloud, that what people hears or writes, so next week should be the poster boy of that word cloud. So everyone will let me know next week. That next week has never come. So after that, what I did was try to gather my own funds. My father said that okay, you are pursuing. I was pursuing electronics engineering because I was academically I was a good student, and students and all my fellow classmates and my teachers and family told that no, you have to do it. It's a suicide. It's a career suicide if you don't do it. So I started electronics engineering, and in parallel I started making 2 or 3 with my handicam short films and all. But I knew that when this 4 years of engineering will be over, then the campusing time will come, and if I don't have an alternate source of income, they will push me into this world of routine jobs and all, which are great, really are great, because all my friends are doing it. They are very successful at that, and I have high regards for everything, for all of those aspects. But I found that I don't want to be in a robotic routine kind of a world. I wanted to be something else. So I started doing my own short films and all, irrespective of these companies who are turning down my story. Initially I just wanted to submit my stories. So if someone picks up those stories, maybe some film will be made, maybe some short film will be made. So later on they will approach me as a director. That was my initial optimistic persona, like that cock-eyed optimist. I was a little kid back then. So after that, when I started making these films and they started going to international festivals, my short films which I have been making since class 12 actually, just when I was transitioning into college. So when they started going into these festivals, my parents gave me full support that if you are honest in something, you can go ahead. We have some money saved for your education only, because today people after BTech, after graduation, they go for postgrad, they go for master's degree and all. So we can help you with those money that is saved for your higher education. And these days that those are lakhs and lakhs of rupees. Even if a scholarship is obtained, then also many expenses are there. So I said that why not I use this money in something that I want to do, like why not I study a filmmaking course in a very good university. So when I submitted my CV and all to NYFA, New York Film Academy, they readily agreed me to take me on board. But there is now also no option of scholarship there, and it was over 60 to 70 lakhs for a full-time course there for 2 or 2.5 years. So that money was not available, and what my parents thought that education expense will be, what their thought process, their middle class thought process, they did not expect that this will be the expenditure. So I said that don't save this money, don't expense this money in half-hearted things, save this money, give this money to be my seed investment in my company. Because even if you open a very little kind of a store, a seed investment is needed. So my higher education money turned into my seed investment. After that I went from one place to another, submitting my stories and all. And what I heard, that even if I am trying to do something on my own with my own money, people are not ready to collaborate with me. So once again I found that this philosopher Girard, whom I keep quoting, that there is a scapegoat mechanism which exists. There are big companies, many big companies who are like working against each other. They are making their own products, they are selling it in the theaters and all, but they are continuously in competition with each other, all these big companies. When me as an independent, a very small business owner comes to any of them, everyone rejects me. So at that point, all their internal conflicts turn into a friendship. All the big companies join hand against a little guy. So that's the scapegoat mechanism, and I am the scapegoat. So after that, after these many hurdles and all, I applied to banks and many other forums and small business owners like me. I thought that if some big guy does not help a little guy, then maybe some little guys can join hand. And I started making friendships. So friendships with these small companies. So what happened? All these big guys, they kept track of whatever I am doing, and that they became my rivals, pratidwandi. So at least 2 years it took me to develop my project, to make my film. And when I tried to book a location, I was told that that location is already taken by some XYZ company for this date. I did not used to get location, camera was sometimes unavailable. When I tried to release my film, no hall was ready to accept the film at initial stage, so it took at least 6 to 7 months. And since a bank helped me in getting off my business, like they gave me a business loan, EMIs were, even if you take a home loan or anything, any small thing, EMIs will build up. So all these things were going on, and I was thinking that what should I do? At this stage, a lightning, like fate also joined hands with the opposition. A lightning struck, and all my data, my computer, my hard disk, everything was wiped off. Only one backup was there in the edit studio. That's why my film got saved. But the lightning strike, I had posted in social media after all those things happened. The lightning strike had wiped off all my important data, even my setups. So after all these hurdles, the film got released, and finally when it was running well, when the reviews were pouring in, suddenly I was getting calls from multiplexes that they want to show some superstar of Bollywood's films or some other big budget Bengali films. They won't be able to show my film anymore. I said, what is the reason? They told me the reason is only that your film is from a new company and other films are from big budget and from established companies. That's the only reason. It's not that my film is doing well, maybe it should be given a little more chance. It's not that. So I was feeling restricted, Shimabadda. So after that, the audience response and the reviews that were pouring in helped me to get the film to a national release. It was shown in Mumbai. So when the Mumbai press covered it, and even the non-Bengali speaking audience also loved the film, I was really elated. So through thick and thin and through hurdles and everything, I crossed the journey and came to this place. So it took me over 18 months to make one film, when established or these big guys can make a film within a span of 16 to 17 days. So whoever of you are trying to get on this platform of filmmaking or performing arts, you have to keep these things in mind. And you have seen that I have quoted 3 Bengali words in my entire speech. That is Mohanagar, and another is Shimabadda, and another is Pratidwandi. So incidentally, these 3 keywords are the Satyajit Ray's Calcutta trilogy, and that's my hard-hitting experience of mine to you, and I wish you all the best in your path. Thank you.